Claremont High School, and we're going to hear from them on the subject of memories, I believe.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Drew.
And my name is Tiana. We will be representing Claremont High School in the 18th Annual Conference.
We are students from Year 7 to Year 10, and for our project, we collectively decided to research memories as an overall topic, each group looking at the capabilities of human memory from different perspectives.
Due to the pandemic, all of our meetings, discussions, and experiments took place online. Therefore, we would like to emphasize the limitations that we had come across during our time constructing this PowerPoint and collecting the relevant data.
Subsequently, I would like to pass it on to my colleagues who will begin presenting their section of the PowerPoint.
Hello, my name is Aidan, and I'm presenting with my associate Carlos, and we will be delivering our presentation on photographic memory. Our hypothesis. We developed a hypothesis that the younger population has a better photographic memory than the elder population, and my colleagues and I decided to test our theory through a survey. We also questioned whether other factors such as gender could influence memory. Our experiment. Our experiment involved designing a quiz, which we sent this to participants with a variety of ages and genders. The participants were asked to memorize words and their corresponding colors and answer questions regarding the words and colors. Points were awarded for correct answers and a total was counted. A higher score suggests better memory. The questions. Here are some examples of questions we asked within the quiz. Participants were asked to remember the word and their subsequent color and answer a number of questions regarding it. To prevent cheating from manipulating our results, question 14, worth 0 marks, was used to find cheaters. If the participant answered this question correctly, with 4 marks and an unrealistic completion time, we could safely deduce that they had most likely cheated. A total of 140 results were collected, 81 female and 59 male. The data analysis. As you can see in this graph, there's a general trend showing a negative correlation between age and test score. As an average, our results supported our theory, proving our hypothesis that age affects photographic memory.
Good morning, my name is Carlos and I'm taking over from here. Among male results, we can see that with 0 to 18-year-olds, the average score for the form is 14, followed by a huge dip within the 19 to 30 age group as the mean drops to 8. This result seems to recover, however, as the results see a moderate increase among female results. Among female results, the graph shows 0 to 18-year-olds actually have the lowest score among women. We also see that 19 to 30-year-olds share similar rates of memories with 31 to 40-year-olds. This graph shows a moderate increase throughout. As per male results, there are more consistent averages of time scored in each age group, with a compact interquartile range, suggesting age is on average insignificant in relation to time scored for male. As for female, the numbers are consistently increasing with age. The lengthy interquartile range implies a correlation between age and photographic memory, which supports our theory. When comparing the average scores of each gender, we see that there is a minimal difference between the two, suggesting gender does not factor in score. When comparing time taken, we are shown that on average, females took longer to finish the form by 21 seconds, suggesting gender does affect time necessary to complete the task. To summarize, the evidence collected consistently illustrates a negative correlation between age and photographic memory, thus supporting our hypothesis. I'll now pass on to Vitusha.
Hello everyone, we are a group of Year 10 and Year 7 students. I am Vitusha, a Year 10 student.
And I'm Gunj, also a Year 10 student.
We decided to choose short-term memory as our topic, as many within our group had trouble remembering what they had for lunch 3 hours earlier. It was assumed we just had terrible memories, or a bad lunch, because canteen food, am I right? Although later we realized that it was an incorrect conclusion, as a few members could recall what they had for breakfast during the same meeting.
So, what is short-term memory? You could think of short-term memory as the brain's notepad, since it's the ability to keep information in your mind for a short amount of time.
To prepare our research, we had to produce an interesting idea, come up with a relevant hypothesis, and think of a simple experiment that we could conduct online.
Our hypothesis was, what is the correlation between associated and random words with our memory, and how certain other external factors affected our ability to memorize information?
Our focus was on investigating if associated words, words that fall into the same category, are easier to recall than random words, words that do not fall into the same category. The research method we chose was to create 2 different Microsoft Forms quizzes. One consisted of associated words and the other of random words.
The quizzes contained 2 sets of 12 words. We requested each participant to memorize these and then recall as many words as possible from the given set. Examples of random words we included were grape, chair, knowledge, and afternoon.
For the associated words quiz, we focused on colours such as purple, amber, violet, and emerald. In research conducted by Prof. Law, it is summarized that women have an advantage over men in multitasking, at least in certain situations. This allowed us to believe that women would achieve a higher grade.
According to renowned psychologist George Miller, people can store 7 items of data or information plus or minus 2. Joseph Jacobs supported this theory through his own research and derived at the conclusion that as age increases, we become more effective in the methods we use to recall information.
After a week of collecting results for both quizzes, it was time to analyze the data. These are the results for the associated words quiz. The blue bar is for males and orange represents females. Overall, the average score for females was higher.
The red bar shows question 1 and the orange bar shows question 2. The graph on the left shows the total average score for females per age group. There is a consistent increase for the scores for the females. Interestingly, this supports Jacobs' theory that as we get older, we develop more efficient methods when it comes to retaining information.
The graph on the right shows the total average score for males per age group. There is no correlation between age and male scores. Generally, females are better than males for associated words.
The following graphs present the average time taken to complete the quiz for both genders. To our surprise, while there seems to be a positive correlation with the females' ages and time taken, there is a negative correlation for the males. Now we move on to our random words results. On the bar chart, males are represented by red and orange are represented by females. In fact, females prove to have a higher average score than males, supporting our research on gender affecting our memory.
The graph shows similar patterns for both genders, where it rises at ages 16 to 20, then dips slightly, and then increases again. However, once again, the average score for females was slightly higher than males.
Ignoring the anomaly of 31 to 40-year-olds for females, as age increased, so did the time taken, demonstrating that it will take those who are older a longer time to recall or store information in their short-term memory. For males, there is no clear correlation linking age to time taken.
Throughout our research, we found that associated words are easier to remember than random words, therefore proving our hypothesis.
Interestingly enough, the average scores are 7 concerning the random words and 8 for the associated words, proving George Miller's 7 plus or minus 2 theory.
Our observations. Females have a slightly better short-term memory. Our conclusions. Associated words are easier to remember than random words. How could we improve? One way we can improve is to have a higher number of responses to acquire more accurate results.
Thank you for giving us your time, and we hope that you remember what we have told you today. We'll now pass over to Isha and Tiana. Thank you.
Hi, I am Isha, and Tiana and I will present our presentation on how and if chewing gum improves our memory. Our hypothesis was to prove whether chewing gum helps improve cognitive functions. In this case, the recollection of information. There are a few articles which support our hypothesis, as can be found on the website New Scientist. To prove our hypothesis, we conducted a social experiment, which was completed via Microsoft Forms. People were asked to read the information on a subject for a few minutes and then take a test of their recollection of the material studied. In the first survey, participants were requested to not chew gum, and in the second survey, they were asked to only proceed if they were able to chew gum. The texts for each survey were of similar complexity to ensure it was a fair test. As you can see at the bottom, this is the text we included in our form in which you're supposed to chew gum in. The graph on the left compares the results between males and females. Overall, our data shows that there was an increase in results when people chewed gum. We found out that males improved more with the gum and had a better performance than the females. However, if there were more males that did the survey, a more definite conclusion could have been drawn because there would have been an equal number of male and female participants. The graph on the right shows the performance of different age groups. Participants aged 11 to 13 and 14 to 16 roughly had the same improvement. However, the age 17 plus category improved less with the gum. This could be because it is easier to memorize things when you are younger. We could have improved the accuracy of our data if we knew the ages of the people who were over 17. In conclusion, participants performed better whilst they were chewing gum, which successfully proves our hypothesis. Furthermore, we found out that there was a correlation between age and gender and how people performed. So far, as with the previous groups, a similar inference can be drawn. The older you get, the less capable you are of remembering things. Thank you for listening. We hope our presentation was informative and you learned something. We will now pass on to the next group.
Memories. It's an interesting concept, isn't it? The power to recall something that happened so long ago.
Hello, my name is Gia.
And I'm Murtaza.
We decided to choose memories as a topic due to how interesting we find them. Our group, Mohit, Vera, Kay, Murtaza, Beggy, Maya, Niharika, and myself, focused on the effect memories have on people as a whole.
Before we discuss that, let's focus on what memories are. On the PowerPoint, you can see the technical term of memories. In its simplest terms, a memory is an important moment in our life that our brain stores to remember. So what is the brain then? The brain is the command center for the nervous system.
When we began our experiment, we settled on one question to answer. Why do people experience a certain memory differently? We want to know why that was and what affected it.
In order to do this, we split our experiment to answer 4 questions. Are negative memories more vivid? Does this mean they exaggerate? Does how we remember our past experiences influence us in the future? And how do our memories affect our actions? In order to answer these questions, we sent out a survey that received 65 responses.
75% of the sample analysed focused on negative memories more often than positive ones. This is Group X. Group X tends to remember the negative memories better.
A majority of Group X also said they remembered situations differently to others. This suggested that because they focus so much on negative memories, they remember more situations as negative, causing false memories. The definition of false memories is on your screens. Group Y were those who focus on positive memories more often. In support of the previous slide, we found that focusing on positive memories meant they were remembered better and found they weren't exaggerated. Positive memories were also remembered similarly among a group, while negative memories were distorted.
We were also able to establish a link between memories and dreams. If you remember negative memories more, you are more likely to have negative dreams and vice versa. We discovered that people often focused on memories to influence their decisions. However, we found that it was unlikely for them to focus on their negative memories to support them, suggesting that people do not like to link negative experiences to their future, despite being able to remember them better. In conclusion, we have been able to prove our hypothesis. People remember memories differently depending on what memories they value more. Our negative memories are very likely to exaggerate and be more vivid when we recall them. By thinking about positive memories, we can avoid the exaggeration, distortion, feelings, and negativity that ride with negative memories.
Our past experiences can influence our dreams and opinions. And that's how our memories affect our actions. By showing us our past experiences, they put us in a better position when a situation occurs. We thank you for listening to us and will now pass over to Dhruv and Tiana.
Thank you for all the groups who put in a lot of effort and time into creating such a wonderful and informative PowerPoint.
Over the course of a few months, all of our groups have managed to collect over 500 responses which either do or do not support our hypotheses.
We have managed to produce conclusions for all 4 of our subtopics from reliable sources of evidence and have discovered many different links and correlations.
There is a significant difference between the time taken to complete tasks and gender. There is also a positive trend between ages of females and the time taken to complete the task.
We detected a clear link between chewing gum and your memory performance, as well as a link between dreams and memories.
Thank you for your attention, and I hope you enjoyed our presentation.
Thank you very much indeed, team, for presenting that. That was very informative. Again, I've got a few questions. If I can ask you those questions. I just wondered why did the group choose this particular subject?
Thank you for the question. By the subject, do you mean the memories that we chose as a whole?
Yes, choosing the topic of memories.
Well, we had a group meeting where we wanted to decide what topic we were looking at. And whilst we had a few options, I think memories kind of stood out to all of us, especially because in the current time, we're all staying at home and we're like more than going out and making the memories, we have the memories that are sort of keeping us happy. And we also use memories in more like within our life. So when we're looking at revision for tests and stuff, especially our short-term memory, we use that a lot as well.
Thank you. How did you decide on breaking up the age groups?
Okay, thank you for your question. We decided to break up the age groups in this type of way. If we because there's equal number of ages in each age group, and if we did it in like shorter age gaps, there'd be too much for us to analyze. Here, it's enough for us to analyze and get a good conclusion with the data results.
Thank you very much for that. That's a good answer. Why do you think it might take longer for people to complete some of your tasks depending on gender?
Like we saw in one of our theories with Joseph Jacobs, how he said that, so Joseph Jacobs helped support George A. Miller's theory about retaining 7 plus or minus 2 items of data at a time. And when we looked specifically at genders as well, there was Prof. Law who said that women have been seen to think more clearly when it comes to a more stressed situation or a complex situation and find a solution quicker because of the ability to multitask for women.
Okay, thank you very much indeed for that. I've got another question. So, taking these things into consideration, how might your findings contribute to teaching methods?
If we could understand what helps people remember better, then it would help teachers to give their students something that they could actually remember for a long time. It would help them in their tests. And the more we understand about memory, the more we can actually improve our future, because we can only get somewhere if our past lets us get there. And by analyzing how we can build a better past, we can spend more time on things that we know will help us.
Okay, thank you very much. I've got a couple of questions from the chat box. First off, I've got a question about, is there something in chewing gum that aids in recalling information?
We don't believe that there's an ingredient in the gum that helps memory. We think it's the act of actually chewing the gum which helps increase the blood flow in the brain.
Thank you. And I've got two other questions that I'll put to you. How might you people go about improving short-term memory?
We could improve like our experiment by including a similar or a more number of males than females, because in some of our data results there was less males than females. And also we could include more factors such as ethnicity to examine if there will be a stronger correlation between like ethnicity or like any other factors that or distractions that can play a part in our memory as well.
Thank you. And one last one here. Did you consider any other variables, like whether somebody was stressed and their possible mental health condition?
We did consider it, but because we're online and because of COVID, we have a few limitations. We decided that it would be harder to find out if someone's stressed or like if they have their siblings around them or if they've got distractions. So we tried to keep it as simple as possible whilst being able to have as much information to get like a good enough conclusion.
Thank you very much indeed. So that's the end of the questions that I had for you. So everybody should go away and focus on positive thoughts now. And we'll move to our third and final presentation in this session,